All right. Hey, everybody. We were going to wait to do our very first horse racing video podcast till next week, but Jake and I, we were inspired by the feedback and we decided to do one for Santa Anita tomorrow. So this is the first time we're doing live video. We're going to show screenshots of my sheet, screenshots of the PPs. We're going to share opinions. I'll introduce myself for those that don't know me. Jeff Bessa. I run Charting Horse Value. I met Jake, I don't know, what was it, 20 years ago, Jake?
Probably almost, yeah. 16, 17 years ago.
Yeah, we were basically co-owners in On the Mark Racing, which Jake started. And then later I spun off and did something called Dragonfly Racing. We had a lot of success. You guys can look us up. I think we were winning 30% of our starts or more. I mean, so we were winning a lot of races, had a blast. Now we're just handicapping buddies and we travel all over handicapping races. Jake, you want to introduce yourself a little bit?
Yeah, Jake Phillips. I just been a handicapper my whole life, pretty much, since I was, just a young kid going to Bandera Downs in Bandera, Texas. I started a little thing the other day on Twitter called Pace Plots. It's something I'm working on. It's kind of a work in progress. But yeah, no, it's exciting. It's been fun. And, I'm happy to do this. This is going to be fun.
Cool. Yeah, this is first episode. Now, we haven't come up with an official name yet, but we're thinking about hops and horses. And this is my favorite beer right now. I'm going to crack it open here.
What is that? It's hard to see the name. Tell us what it is.
This is called Tupps. Okay. That's a
Tupps.
brewery. Yeah, it's a brewery about 5 minutes from my house. Fantastic beer. And this is a hazy IPA. Okay. It's a double. And that's my message for everybody. Drink hazy IPAs. They're full of flavor, not too bitter. Drink doubles. You get twice of alcohol for your money. And drink
double until you're hazy.
Yeah. DDH.
Yeah.
IPA. This is a small batch, but that's my beer for the day. Every week I'll have a different beer. Jake, what are you drinking?
I'm drinking a bottle of Bullet bourbon.
Okay.
Brand new.
Nice.
Just opened it.
Yeah.
I might just drink straight out of the bottle.
Okay.
Yeah, no, actually I got a glass here. We were just talking about it from when you and I went to the Breeders' Cup at Del Mar in 2017. I've got a commemorative Breeders' Cup Del Mar whiskey glass here, and not that Del Mar nor the Breeders' Cup needs me to plug them, but there you go. That's my drink of choice for tonight.
Jake, what was that horse we hit the turf race before Gunrunner?
It started with a T. I can't remember the name.
I can't remember either.
It wasn't Ticonderoga. That was the 2-year-old turf horse.
I can look at it, but anyway,
yeah,
and I hit that double for we hit it hard. We hit it for over $2,000 payoff, and keyed that 15-to-1 shot with Gunrunner. So, all right, well, let's talk some horses. We're going to do the Santa Anita Pick 5. I'm going to share a couple documents here. So hit and share screen. It's not going to be super high tech, everybody, but we're going to talk race 7 first. Wide open race. Let's look at the conditions. Mile on the turf for optional claiming 40,000, non-winners one other than. So we're going to have some horses in here running for 40K and who have multiple wins like Bedrock here. And we're going to have some horses that have only won one race lifetime. So Jake, you're going to start us off. Who do you like in this race?
I actually like the 6 horse in this race, Secret Club. This is one of those races. I mean, one of my favorite races to bet, are turf routes, because I think I've always thought that's really where the money is to be made. But this is one of those races that, it's like I always find myself trying to bet it because I think I've made some smart choice. And a lot of times this is a race that can kind of nab you. And that's because a lot of these horses are trying, a lot of them are trying something new, specifically stretching out. I mean, you got I think the 1 horse, the 2 horse, maybe maybe the 3 and the 8, but they're stretching out from those 6.5 furlong turf races to this 2-turn mile. Any of those horses obviously could really love the 2 turns and could win this, but I like the 6 horse mainly because of the 6 horses established desire to go the 2-turn mile. The horse obviously loves Santa Anita, obviously likes the distance, and that's the one I'm picking in this race.
I like that pick. I looked at that horse a lot. The only concerns I had, and I'll show you my sheet in a second, won both races in state bred company.
A lot of state bred races, yeah.
Yeah, and then moved up into open, but ran well. I mean,
yeah,
only beaten 2 lengths at 14-1. So, I mean, I like that horse too. Jessica stays on board. When you look at my sheet, Secret Club gets one of the ones. Now, I talked about this in my rank blog. I like to look at all the horses that get a 1 for serial raisers. And this is a very unique race in that there's 5 different horses that get a 1.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, the horse I like the most, I would use all 5 of those horses, by the way, in the pick 5. And I'd also use a dare, and you'll see why in a second. Those would be the 6. I would go 6 deep in this race. It's a pretty wide open race, not the greatest betting race, but Southern Horse, the 8. First of all,
that's a European horse, huh?
Yeah, European, started in Argentina, 2nd or 3rd off the layoff, good energy at 88, and best odds of 3.9. When you look at that 8, you can see that it was running down in Argentina, and then switched into Europe, where didn't run that great, honestly. Maybe was a bleeder. Comes over here, and in the 2nd race of his career here, runs a damn good race. Okay, 9th, 5 lengths back, 9th, 7 lengths back, finishes 6th, 3 lengths back. Was closing ground well. Now gets to stretch out a little bit. We'll see how that works. But Umberto jumps on board. 24. Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of what I like to call trash over there in that comment line. You see that trash over in the comment line where it just looks like the horse just took a beating throughout the course of the running of that race. Broke in, bumped, saved ground, looks like the horse should improve.
So anyway, he lost to Adair that day. And so Adair, I think is very usable. But going back to the sheet, I mean, it's wide open. Definitely the kind of race you could go all. Jake had the 6, Secret Club. I had the 8, 15-1. It's not going to go up 15-1. You might get 7-1. And then I would use the other horses that get 1s, and you could look at those PPs yourself, and then definitely use Adair. So I'd probably be 6 deep if I was playing the pick 5.
Oh yeah, at least.
Yeah, at least. All right, let's talk about race 8. I'll go first this time. I'm liking, I'm going to go with these plus horses often. Again, it's another 15-1 shot. That's Stay Happy. Let's take a look at Stay Happy. Another wide open race, by the way. So Stay Happy. Oh yeah, this is an interesting one. So 6.5 furlongs. Had a pretty, was running from much higher, then dropped down to 10,000, won a race, goes in for 12.5, gets claimed off of All Weather, and now is switched over to Kristen. She obviously has taken her time with this one to come back, but she is 32% 90 days away, 20% first off the claim.
It looks like she's really hot all the way around. I mean, she's batting 23% right now at Santa Anita, 22 on the year. I mean, it's.
I think she's going to have this horse ready. The jockey and trainer do great together. Very, very profitable together. And all those stats get factored into this trainer rating, which is a 9, which is significantly better than any other trainer in the race. So I'm not concerned about the 5-month layoff. That's going to get me a price and $12 of value. The other horse, obviously sitting on top of my sheet, is Howbeit. And I'll just pull up the Howbeit for a second. Howbeit, actually, one thing that's concerning me about Howbeit is both his wins that are showing up in his past performances came at shorter distances of 5.5 furlongs than he's going today. He's got Cedillo staying on board. I mean, this is not, in my opinion, this is a very beatable horse. Nothing special about it, but he is sitting on top of my sheet. Who do you like, Jake?
Yeah, that number 1 is that's an interesting horse. I mean, it's sort of rare to see a horse, especially at the same distance, almost go to the front and win, in that race back in December of 2020, and then 2 races later, also at 5.5, drops back, behind 4 or 5 other horses and sort of closes from mid-pack. I mean, that's interesting. That's an interesting horse. Looks like lately maybe he's been hanging a little bit, or just not quite getting there.
Yeah.
The horse that I took in that race is actually an old horse that I think was on the Derby trail for a while, which is the 6-horse Ginobili, or Ginobili. This horse has an angle that I really like. I think it's probably the reason why your program isn't high on the horse, because the race that I like is so long ago. But if you look at that horse, I mean, this race is 6.5 on the dirt at Santa Anita, and that horse is coming off of 3 straight turf races. And those were followed, those followed a 1.16 mile race. If you go back, to the horses, sort of what you would call long sprints, when he was a 3-year-old, those races are a lot better than the ones he's been running lately, which is one reason you're getting the 12-1 morning line. I mean, the horse ran, without a doubt, the best race of his life at Santa Anita, going 7 furlongs in the Grade 2 San Vincent, and lost 3/4 of a length to Nadal. Mm-hmm. Since then, he hasn't really been given an opportunity to run a race similar to that, from a distance or surface standpoint. And so, looks like he's been training really well. The horse is coming in. One of the things that I really like to see, I call it the 3 straight 5 furlong works. He's coming in off of 3 straight 5/8 moves. Mm-hmm. 3 moves back, it was a bullet. The last move was almost a bullet. 2 of those 3 are sub 1 minute moves. I feel like he's training really well. He's second off of a layoff. I mean, I'd love 12-1 on that horse. I don't know if I'm going to get it, but yeah, no, I really like Ginobili in that Ginobili in that race.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not going to be on that horse, but everything you said makes sense. And I did like the second off the layoff for Baltus. So, I don't know what else I would use in here. As again, the ones are all spread out. It's very wide open. You could definitely go deep. I remember looking at Palace Coup. I didn't like that horse. And Palace Coup is going to be in a little bit of a battle with Whiskey My God. I don't like either of those horses. Established is a pretty short price for a horse that's only getting an 85 energy. Kana, I looked a little bit at Kana. Mike Smith stays on board, and the horse broke his maiden with Mike Smith and then switched to turf and, didn't run too good. And it looks like he lost his whip mid-stretch. I mean, that horse makes a little sense, but
yeah,
price is pretty short.
Yeah, those are some pretty serious speed figures on that horse.
Yeah.
And especially his dirt race there, breaking his maiden. I mean, if he reruns that, he might be pretty tough.
Yeah. So another pretty wide open race. Sucks having two wide open races to start the pick 5, but
that's what 2 alls are for.
Yeah, 2 alls, baby.
That's right.
But I think you want to go for a price in both those races. I mean, there's no reason to take a short horse.
Yeah.
All right. Now, speaking of short horses, one's your turn. Race 9.
Race 9, I definitely think I think the chalk is going to be tough. I think the 2 horses there closest to the rail are probably going to be pretty good. I for some reason I have always had an aversion to if I'm going to pick one horse to pick in the chalk. So in this race, I actually went. I tried to go with being a turf route. I tried to go with the closer here, and I took the 4 horse Big Talker. I like the fact that this horse, you can see that one race there. Horse has got a bunch of mile races. This race here is 1.1 miles on the turf, and you can see the one race that's 1.1 miles on the turf. Sure enough, the horse fired the best race of his career. He's got Rispoli up. Obviously, Rispoli rode him last time. I like the comment line, lacked room. Looks like he was closing pretty hard and heavy. I don't feel like there's I don't know that there's necessarily a ton of speed in this race, but I know that what there's not is a ton of really great closers. And I feel like, that horse is probably the best pure closer in the race. And I feel like maybe this time he gets through and he gets the job done. Looks like he's maybe moving up in class a little bit, going to a stakes race, but it is Cowbreds. And so I like the 4 Big Talker in that one.
Okay. That's a good pick. Nothing wrong with that. I noticed Pratt left Big Talker. I don't know if he ran in that race against Big Talker, but I'm a little disappointed. I'm not that impressed by that optional claiming 50K race, which this horse took second in, found my ball, and then this other horse, Frarian, what's his number?
Yeah, some of these are like running right back, against each other, like top 3 finishers.
Right. Top 3 coming right back. It doesn't look like that race was very fast. And then Pratt jumped off the horse you're mentioning, comes back onto this guy.
Yeah, big favorite.
Who looks like he's finally figured it all out. Wins 2 in a row. And this is a massive jockey upgrade. And he's been running against some company, 100K, 200Ks, 75Ks. Heck, he ran in a grade 2 here. Early in the year. My big knock on this horse is how heavily raced he is this year. This is his 6th start since March. That is a little bit of a concern, but Peter Miller, Pratt, he
can't beat the connections there.
Yeah, I think this horse is just flat out better. When I look at the sheet, he gets K+, gets all 5 ones, $27 of value. I think I would single this horse and just, move on to the next race. So that's how I'm playing it. I'm going to single none above the law.
Yeah. I think he's going to be tough. I mean, I think that's probably the horse that most people are looking at, as a single in this sequence. It seems like, yeah.
And by the way, the horse will be very handily placed up front, I think, close to the pace. All right, race 10 is my turn. Oh yeah, I remember this race. So this, first of all, my K plus horse, I'm So Anna. I pulled that one up. Um, not in love with this horse at all. Says EP8, so the horse can maybe win from off the pace, but the only time he did that was in a 5 furlong Los Alamitos race. The other two times he won was on the lead, and I don't think he's going to get the lead today. If you look at my sheet, there's an E8 in Pawnee and an E8, and oh my God, it's Jessica. So there's plenty of pace. Even this Eddie's New Dream is going to be very forwardly placed. And so, it's hard to say no to a K plus. I probably would use that horse in a pick 5. I probably couldn't walk away from that, but I'm not in love with that horse. The horse I like, unfortunately, is the favorite, Fee Fi Pharaoh. And there's just so much pace in the race. And this horse can stay off the pace and come running like he did breaking his maiden with Rispoli. And Rispoli stays on this horse and jumps off Pawnee. Okay. He was riding Pawnee and he says, no, I don't want to ride Pawnee. I'm going to ride this horse. And it's not like he rides for this horse, this trainer very often. In fact, he very rarely rides for this trainer. So he must like this horse a lot. And the horse had a pretty impressive victory and is going to get a great pace setup. Who do you like?
I struggled with this race. Tell you the truth, there wasn't really anything, jumping out at me. I did look at the one Pawnee, and I looked at the favorite as well. I think I'm going to take the 6 horse. It seems like I'm on the 6 horse in a lot of these races. I think I'm going to take Eddie's New Dream in this race. The horse is stretching out, trying something new. Been running some good numbers, some good speed figures so far. It's hard to talk one up that, a race that you're not really crazy about. This, I think, was my least favorite race of the sequence. But I do like the 6. I like the coming in off the bull at work. I like the second off a layoff. I feel like the horse is relatively classy for, he's running a stakes race. He's run 3rd in a stakes race. And it seems like this is I'm not sure how strong this field is. And so it's, I guess it's a field of Cowbreds. But I think I'm going to take a shot with the 6 in this one.
I like that 6, and that 6 got $15.
Oh, you got him second, yeah.
And 2 1s makes complete sense and does have the form cycle going in his favor. By the way, Fee Fi Pharaoh gets a 0 trainer and an 8 jockey. I wrote a blog on this. That's the over jock angle.
Yeah.
It's a very strong angle. I think you could buy this race 3 deep, 3, 5, 6. Of course, that's all the chalk.
Yeah.
I definitely would not leave the 3 out. And then you got to decide between the 5 and the 6. Your 6 makes probably better sense than the 5. He's a little more tactical. One of the concerns in this race, and for the last race for that matter, is a lot of these horses are going to be running without Lasix for the first time. You'll see Eddie's New Dream ran with Lasix, but he has a few without. I'm So Anna has not been running with Lasix at all. So you know what you're going to get. And Fee Fi Pharaoh has run with Lasix 3 out of the 4 races. I mean, that's the wild card factor, is how they run without Lasix. But, I think it's kind of a tough race. I like our 2 selections, honestly. I think those are the right 2.
Yeah. Yeah. The concern I would have with that 3 horse there, just looking at it on the screen, a lot of people, I think this is just sort of one of those, like, it varies by handicapper. A lot of people like to take that last out maiden winner, and say, hey, I'm going to strike while the iron is hot, and say, hey, that horse is gonna pop again. I, as a just basically, in my method as a handicapper, I like to look at a horse like that and say that was its race.
Yeah.
You know, that horse is gonna regress off of that, and then, you know, maybe a start from now, you know, might pop another one like that maiden. But yeah, I mean, I think in that race we're as deep as one would need to be.
Well, the thing is, I totally agree with you. And you know, you see the trainers 0 for 7 in graded stakes and 0 for 2. It's just a very light trainer.
Yeah.
What Walter Solis, but you know, Umberto, I gotta believe, could have ridden this one if he wanted to, and he chooses not to. So now, granted, Mike Smith is getting on board. Nothing wrong with that. But
well, as long as the horse wins,
right? Yeah.
You know,
I mean, honestly,
Mike only will ride a winner.
I mean, the zero is a big issue, you know, and if you look at the speed figure, the energy on your 6 is by far the best, the 90.
Pretty good margin there.
Yeah.
Stretching out though.
Stretching out.
Yeah.
Stretching out, that's the big issue. So I mean, another tough little race here.
Good sequence.
You got to basically take a stand somewhere. Probably got to take a stand here on one of those 3 horses.
Sure.
All right, race 11. I'll let you go first. It's the 14 furlongs on the turf, the San Juan Capistrano. Now, before I let you start, I started betting Santa Anita back in the late 80s, and this was one of the premier races.
I think they've run this race for like 100 years.
And I think it was a grade 1.
Yeah.
It was
it used to be. I mean, this used to be like the mid-summers, you know, in Southern California, or, you know, on the West Coast. I mean, this was like the Arlington Million, from what I remember from way back when.
Yeah. This is a 1.75 miles, which horses just can't do anymore. And they run down this hill. They start way up here on the top, and they're going to run down this whole hill, which they don't do it anymore for the sprints, but they'll do it for the long distance. And then they're going to run all the way around the turn. It's a 1.75 miles. And I mean, it's a short 1.75 miles because you're running downhill for a while. But a lot of the horses here are not going to be able to go that far.
Well, so, I mean, that, you know, you teed me up with that statement. You teed me up to the horse I'm going to pick, which is a horse that that definitely can go that far, and likes to go that far, and he proved it last year when he won this race, which is the 2-horse Red King.
Yep.
I mean, you know, looking at this horse's past performances, especially looking at his last, you know, 10 or 12 races, I mean, this race for this horse last year was far and away, you know, the best start that he had. Maybe not from a speed figure standpoint, but I mean, he dusted that field in this race last year. He's coming in, you know,
just
second. Yeah, I mean, second off of a little 60-day break. He's working well, you know. I mean, the horse loves Santa Anita. He's 5 for 14 lifetime. You know, obviously he loves the distance. He's going to be a short price. You know, I kind of wonder if, you know, he's a 5-2 morning line. I wonder if he drifts a little bit. You know, I wonder if maybe you get 3-1 or 7-2 on this horse. But yeah, I'm a big fan of the 2.
So before today started, Jake and I did not talk about these races at all. So far, we've differed on all 4 races, but I also like the 2 Red King for basically all the same reasons you like him. He came into this race last year off of non-winners of 1 victory, and then, like you said, blew away a grade 3 field. And if anything, he's coming in just as strong this year, running obviously a little bit shorter, and now gets second off that short layoff. Rispoli knows this horse really well. And by the way, Rispoli and D'Amato are fantastic together. They win 24% of the time together. And I think you're right. People are going to see a lot of these losses, and he might drift up. You might get every bit of 5-2. And honestly, I don't really like anyone else in this race except one other horse, and that's Acclimate, the E8 there's no speed in the race, and this horse will be on the lead.
Yeah. And that horse is tough.
And that horse is tough. And Red King didn't quite get by him going 1.25 miles. This is 1.75 miles now.
Yeah.
But if you look at Acclimate, at least you're going to have the horse on the lead. But gosh, the horse tires every single time. And the horse, you know, is going to go 1.75 miles. He's never done before. I got to feel he's going to get run down. The other horse that maybe could be a factor is Warden Jerry. You know, Warden Jerry, is he the 3? Yeah, he's a 3. I mean, this was an impressive last win here, 1.5 miles. That was an impressive win. He beat Red King in that race, in that starter race, and he gets Pratt on board. Maybe that's the other horse to use. Maybe the Warden, but then you're using the 2 favorites, Red King and Warden Jerry. But Warden Jerry is going to get bet down, and he's probably going to end up post-time favorite off that. People are going to see these 2 wins, and then Red King,
even though they're starters. I mean,
right? But he beat Red King.
Yeah, no, I mean, it looked like that last race was, you know, like I'd like to go back and watch that race actually, because it looks like it was a pretty dang good race. Right. I mean, you got a blanket, what looks like a blanket finish, half length, head, you know, back to Red King in third. You know, I like the fact on that 3 horse. I mean, everywhere you look in his comment line, it says dug in.
Yeah.
You know, and so he looks pretty tough. But again, I mean, that last race was 1.5 miles, was 1.75 miles. Doesn't seem like it's that big of a difference, but you know, it seems like in grass routes, you know, every one of these races at these long distances, they're way different. You know, you take 1.25 miles grass horse versus 1.5 miles grass horse. You even take 1 mile and 3/8 grass horse versus 1 mile and 5/8 grass. It's like they're all different, and one is just a killer at one of these, but then they can't win at the others.
Yeah, so Warden Jerry lost twice to Red King last year in 2 graded stakes. Was a big long shot on one of them, lost both once he was favored in this race, and he tied
in this race last year. Yeah.
And then he kept some good company. We'll excuse the Hollywood Turf Cup, but now he wins a couple of shorter races, and then he takes a 2-month break. I mean, so now he's going to come in fresh. He's not proven to be that great fresh. Okay. Right. And he's going to be coming in. In fact, many of his wins have come second off the layoff, whereas Red King gets second off the layoff. So these are the 2 horses to beat. I think Acclimate's going to tire, and one of these 2 horses wins. And I think Red King's just going to have more gas at the end.
Yeah.
All righty. So I think we covered all 5 races. We're going to post this video. You guys hopefully enjoy it. Please post comments. Please like the video. I'll put it up on Twitter as well. And probably tomorrow, after we see the scratches, we might even post a couple tickets. But I think we gave you our thoughts on all 5 races, and we wish all you the best of luck tomorrow. Thank you. Jake, any last comments?
No, that's it, man. You covered it. It was fun.
Yep, it was. This is our first one. There'll be many more. We're going to do the Stephen Foster next week. Take care, everybody.